Yes. 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 You're absolutely. Yes. Your gifts and dreams. Yes. 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 They keep holding on. And the anointing is trying to take you where God has assigned you. And tradition and religion is trying to keep you for what they understand, not what God can release in you. Does that make sense? Good morning. I want to welcome all of you in. Yes, we just went live. We had an awesome offline conversation. That's why I invite everybody, that anybody possible, to be able to come in to early bird service and to get the nuggets this morning. I want to welcome all of you in, of course, to the mother campus. They're really, really enjoying it. To the mother campus, as well as to the virtual campus, as well as to all of our global connections. We thank you. We've had a great month in the month of January, and we want to build upon that now. This is the first Sunday in February 2025. We're going to talk this month about short steps, long vision. And what we were talking about, there's a difference between being appointed and anointed. And when a person is appointed, it is almost like they're boxed in. It has an opening and it has a closing. When you're an anointed, you're open to the vessel. You become a vessel, which is an endless revelation that God will pour into you that you can receive. So when we look at short steps, long vision, and we're still dealing with pain versus forgiveness, we do understand this year, 2025, the number 20 means redemption. The number 25 means forgiveness of sins. Now, of course, in our society, in our function today, many people don't talk about sin, but in the eyes of God. And so what I'm encouraging everybody to do, as we don't know what will and what won't happen in 2025, the question is, we need to be prepared, not only naturally, but as well as spiritually. So when I talk about short steps, long vision, this is another phase of dealing and understanding why we're in pain and why we struggle. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. But I received an early text this morning from a good friend. And I asked the Lord, because actually he was on my mind. And the thought came to me. And when he texted me, the thought came to me, Lord, how do I help him? And the thought came, and I'll share this with you, effort versus desire. And we're going to talk about short steps, but effort versus desire. What does that mean? I have a desire to change. I have a desire to want something better. The question becomes, am I going to put forth that effort in order for that to happen? There's a part that we play in this. Now, let me give you this real softly. That effort meets resistance, because presently what you have may not be able to move forward with you. So your desire is to be at a level 5. Your environment may be at a negative 85. And in order to work your way to a level 5, you're going to have to dissolve the negative 85 in order to position yourself to move to a level 5. Now, biblically, this is what it says. When God called Abram, his name was Abram before Abraham, he said to move. He was in the city of Ur. They were celebrating. They were doing all that. And then he told Abram, get from among your kindred. And Abram didn't understand why. He said, because their voice and my voice won't match up to what I have for you. Because I'm not, watch this, I'm not speaking to them. I'm speaking to you. Their capacity cannot handle who I am, because the only God they know is the one they made. I am the source of life. So I'm going to reveal things to you in your spirit that your faith is going to have to cause you to believe when your sight don't see a thing. I'm about to let that one soak in for a minute. It wasn't that God didn't like his kindred, but his kindreds didn't have the ability to walk by faith and see what they believe versus see in the natural eye what's in front of them, because there was no compass, there was no map, There was no blueprint. There was no history. And Abram had never heard another voice speak into his spirit. God spoke to his spirit. He had to talk to his mind. See, many people are asking God to talk to their mind. When the Bible says, for God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Our spirit has to get a hold of our mind. So our mind can cause our physical body to do what our spirit is leading us to do. Does this make sense? Here, yes, it goes back to the end. Did I get it right? Okay, because I've been tearing it up for a minute. That's why I quit saying it. It goes back to the end. The superego and the ego, come on, has to be controlled. The superego and the id has to control the ego, because the ego is the last thing that makes the decision. And if that ego is infected, woo, it's like on a motorcycle with no brakes. Does this make sense? This is why now the next word would be know what not to take forward. When we talked about 331 days left of your life, and hopefully in 2025, after the first 32 days, you should have a great summation of what cannot move forward with you. Whether it's in behavior, whether it's in mindset, whether it's in knowledge base, there's a point in time that I have to know what not to take forward. So when we look at this, here's the thing. Can't take what God is trying to remove from you forward with you. I'll say it again. Can't take what God's trying to remove from you. See, because to move, something has to be left. And so what happens is, it's because of culture, personality, and because of relationship, I literally feel like I have to take them with me. Them may be at their peak, and you're at the foot of your mountain. If you're not careful, them will keep you from progressing to where you're supposed to be. Can't take what God is trying to remove. It's like a scab. It's like a scar. It's like a wound. He's trying to heal you. But some of the company we keeps trying to pick our wounds. They like to pick at you. They like to say things. They like to bring up things that you did and things that you didn't do and things that you could have done. They like to bring up when anger took over you. They like to bring up when you showed out in the grocery store. That's what I was. That's not who I am, because who I am is morphing into who I can become. And so there's a fight. There's a struggle within me. Yes, I'm in my cocoon, and I'm trying to close it. God is trying to close it so I can continue to morph it into what I want to be. And it's a very vulnerable time in your life. And people who can't and haven't prepared themselves to get into the cocoon of transition, they will poke at you. If they were where you were, nobody would be poking.
They're miserable and they want you to be miserable.
They don't want you to grow. Naysayers, you ask me. This is why in Psalm 61, the base stanza 10 through 12, this is why David starts the separation. David says, create, which means it has to be something new in me. That's not, that, watch this, that's beyond my control. It can't be from man, because a man will program it for what he wants. It can't be from my family. Because literally some of the family people are jealous of you. So what he says is created me, which means I have to give God the opportunity to do something new in my life. Now, the human part of my mind says, God, bring my trash with me and don't cause us pain. And God's saying, before I can begin to work with you, you have to acknowledge what you can't take forward with you. Can someone give it a modern day word? It's a weight. In the New Testament, he said, lay aside every weight and the sin, weight and sin. Some people, they don't cause you to sin, but they be a weight, they be a burden because they always negative. You happy coming in, whistling in the house where the dog got loose. We got 2 bills in the mail. My car sounds funny. I didn't feel like cooking. You've been home all day. Male or female? And you can't use a crock pot? Air fryer? Okay, that's your new modern way. Air fryer. You know why? People who complain never plan. People who complain never plan. He says, creating me a clean heart, which means it has to be something. So that clean heart means that the word of God, and for those that are listening and going to study, look up circumcised, uncircumcised heart, which means you still have the coat of human nature, not spirit of God, human nature, that will stop you from embracing, stop you from forgiving, stop you from healing, stop you from recognizing what God can do. So it says, oh God, and renew the right spirit. I got a spirit, but it ain't right. Because there's a side that will tell you off in a minute. It's a side that'll make you get up and go to the refrigerator at 1 o'clock in the morning. No, you don't need nothing else to eat. Yeah, it's a side that will cause you to protect that is wrong and lie about that is right. Yes. So when he says, God, I need you to create it, that means I don't have control over it, and it's totally independent of my thoughts. So I am going to submit to the cleaning vessel of God, rather than walking by my own sight. Here's something. Are you current right now? And this is for the writers that are up early this morning. You want to get ahead? The great Les Brown would say this: do now what people want to, and you will have later what people can't get. Here is what I want to give you. Put a value on your purpose. Every day, whether you have to put it in your bathroom, you have to put it on your refrigerator, your vision board, put a value on your purpose. If you put a value on your purpose, people can't knock you off track so easily. Number 2, purpose leads to peace. You're able to stay away from the chaotic situations and the chaotic conversations and the he said, she said, they didn't do, they didn't get this. You're able to remove yourself from it because now you have vision, you have purpose, and you have peace in your spirit in the midst of chaos. Now, once you start walking in your purpose, it leads to destiny, and destiny is what leads to legacy. You're never going to move forward listening to everything that you hear. It creates division in the body, the mind, and the spirit. Here's another thing. Remember, There's so much life yet to be lived. Stop giving over to panicking. Stop giving over to desperation. There's so much life yet to be lived. The reason people panic and have anxiety, they lack revelation. Instead of trying to follow God, you're trying to lead God. Can I make it plain? The children of Israel got to the Red Sea, had all the gifts, had all the talent, had all the tools, had the things to make the golden image, but didn't have a relationship with God. And until they saw their oppressor again, see, some of you have to be forced into action rather than walking in purpose. So they had to be forced into action. And so then they started screaming, because we like to lay the blame game. They started screaming at Moses that you brought us out here to die. And so Moses turned around. Moses turned around and looked at God, and God let Moses know, you got everything you need, just stretch out your rod. You allow people to control you by sight rather than you fight by faith. See, you forgot you're looking for a physical fight when the Bible talks about spiritual warfare. Your curse words can't bring the adversary down, but the Bible can bring the adversary down. So when you quote scriptures in your spirit, you don't have to be at work. Acts 2:1. Genesis 1:1. You don't have to do that, but speak in your spirit. Oh, Lord have mercy. Sugar bar, honey bun. Speak in your spirit, and your spirit will change the atmosphere. Because when you speak in your spirit and not in your flesh, God sees the power. And he has to assist, because he said before one jot until his word fell, heaven and earth. So he will make heaven come to you. He will make earth defend you because his word is in you. Is this making sense? So number one, don't listen to the naysayers, because people will always try to knock you off your box. Can I tell you why? You have somewhere to go. They don't. You have hope, faith, opportunity. You have purpose. They don't. Why would I let you embarrass me because you can swim and I can't? So what I'm going to do is try to keep you out the pool. There are people who literally try to keep you out of your purpose. And they do it through their mouth to control your mind. And if they can affect your mind, they think they can affect your faith. They're naysayers. You have to have, remember I said deaf between the ears. You have to have deaf ears to co-workers, because it's a gentleman right now, a good friend of mine. It's 45 years ago. I can tell you how old I am. I was standing in the warehouse, and I told a friend of mine, I said, man, I can't do this the rest of my life. And so long story short, I took another path, and 45 years later, they're still riding the forklift in the warehouse. And I'm not mad at him. But he wants the pay of a supervisor, but don't want the responsibility of a supervisor. And so someone asked him the other day, they was like, yeah, we were speaking to people in the morning. Oh, I don't speak to nobody in the morning. How can you be a leader and not willing to speak to everybody in the morning? Because you're doing you. You want supervisors pay, but you want no responsibility or accountability. And then you're going to tell the boss when you coming in and when you leaving. So the young man that they're training, who's only been there 2 years and he's been there 20 years, is going to become his supervisor. So what do you think is going to happen? Just like his last job, they got rid of him. And on the one he's been in almost 20 years, they're going to get rid of him. And I'm not talking about him because he's my friend, childhood friend. I ain't going to say I'm going to fight for him. I'm old now. I can't heal up like I used to. But I fuss for him. I fuss for him. I tell him, man, they shouldn't have did you like that. But here's the thing. In 45 years, his mindset never changed. He's doing the same thing we were doing when we were 18 years old. And you expect a different result. Am I making sense? Short steps, long vision. Not to focus on your distractions. It's the depth of not seeing your vision through when you're trying to take long steps. So most of the time when people get an idea, they try to make it happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It has to be built. And understand this, it will go through at least 5 to 7 phases. What does that mean? You may start your company out at one name. You may start doing one thing, but you didn't understand that was prep work because now something else has been birthed. So now that has been birthed and it went. But what you did not factor in, each step has a life cycle. What you did was current, but not relevant to the future. So as you have taken those steps and you have accomplished that, now you have to evolve into the next phase. It's like a tree. It may bloom at 2 feet, but it's designed to be 7 feet. So the blooms at 2 feet gives the branches strength to continue to grow. So don't discount it. It was a part of your steps to your next level. Does that make sense? That's why it needs to come in short steps. So now, don't let it be the death of you not seeing your vision through because it's not what you wanted, but it's where you started. Remember that. Caution with purpose. What does that mean? Put a plan together. Put phases and steps to it. You can't enter a program and end a program and hadn't started the program and don't know what levels are in the program. Am I correct? Because each semester brings about, I didn't mean to ruin your morning. Say it again. Each semester, it's just wonderful in the first semester. This is a breeze. I had our A's. Oh man, this has got to be good, Bob. Let me tell you something. That second semester, your wig way back here. In fact, you so stressed, you forget your hairpiece. Eyes all big. Yes, you know why? Oh my God, the next level speak a language that you don't know yet. Can I work with somebody here? The next level speak a language that you have yet to learn. And so when you start hearing this language, this is not the time to back up. This is time to open up that level of creativity that's in you. This is when your mind is about to be expanded. You see what I'm saying? This is why it's hard for me to fool with people that, I'm not going to say what I'm saying, but you know what I'm thinking, that don't have any kind of level of credentials, because I don't know if you really can be tested, because when you are tested, you have to trust the process, and if you've never had a process, I don't know how you can be trusted. Amen. There's a process to this. It's called consistency brings the same result and a better result. Does that make sense? Insight and foresight for traps. That's basically what it says. Wealth and creation are lost in distractions. Just because it's tough, entering a new semester, entering a new opportunity, opening up a new line, going to a new company, or are you ready to embrace tomorrow? I said we had 32 days. We got 331 days left. You should know now what you can and cannot take forward. You can't stay up late and get up early and expect to be fresh. Breath stinking like a mule. How you doing this morning? Am I making sense? You have to get your rest. You recharge. Say this to me. I am not a superhero. I cannot jump off a 50-story building and expect to walk away. You got your cape on just and expect to hit the ground and walk away. Tell somebody, I can't. It can't. You can't stay up to 5 and be at church at 7.
Come on, Dad.
And your eyes not red.
Right.
Like you've been at the club. Out there dancing with Django. You can't do it. You can't. Everything look good in the dark. Y'all see those Facebook commercials, those videos when people wake up with people? They thought they were one thing. They thought, yeah. Yes. Let me give you a secret. We're almost done. Be moved by knowledge and substance, not by emotion and distraction and dysfunctional moments. Be moved by knowledge and substance, not by emotional distractions and dysfunctional moments. Dysfunctional moments are going to happen. You see what I'm saying? See, and I love you all, and you got to have a support group. I prayed for you yesterday, so because you hear this more. That me money. Before I came to church, my day was greatest. I'm messing with you. But I'm saying, see, everybody's going to have dysfunctional moments. And what the mind tells you and the illusion tells us is that if it's not perfect, it's wrong. When the truth is, if it's perfect, it ain't real. Yes. So our mind plays tricks on us to make us think everything is going to be perfect. Yes, and there will be no distractions, and there will be no emotions, and that's a lie. God's top soldiers were tested by the adversary. So you're going to have emotional distractions, and you're going to have dysfunctional moments. This is what should cause us to rely back on the process and the relationship when David said, create in me. You see what I'm saying? Create in me. Does this make sense? I hope, as the old church would say, that I've said something to stir your spirit this morning. So I say, peace. I will be in Greenwood when I get to Greenwood. What am I supposed to be talking about in Greenwood?
Adjust and improvise.
Okay. Okay, adjust and improvise. I'll see you all at the Greenwood campus. God bless you.